We are on day 42. So I just got off a client call and there was a powerful discussion that we had, and that something kind of came through me and I wanted to come on and share it here with you. So a lot of the times as human beings, a lot of us do this. We are always chasing on to the next thing and the next thing. When I receive this, life will be good. When I do this, things will work out. When this happens, things will be amazing. Always the next thing, the next job, the next house, the next car, the next boyfriend, the next client. Always the next and next and next. And what you're doing in that moment is you're reaching out to something outside of yourself to fill something within you. And not only does it look like, so that's what it looks like in like the physical world, but let's switch gears and let's talk about in terms when it comes to healing. There's more and more of us doing inner work in this day and age. More and more of us like diving deep, right? Like you're diving deep, you're doing the work, you're figuring out where you're holding yourself back, you're listening to a podcast, watching, the coaches and the mentors and the Akashic Records readers and the spiritual leaders here on IG. You're reading books in spirituality and inner healing. You are participating in master classes, you're investing in yourself, you're doing all these things so that you can step into that next level version of yourself, right? But here's what happens. Whether you are an entrepreneur or you work in a 9-to-5, whatever it is, if you're doing all this inner work around especially money wounds and self-worth work, it's always, when I heal this, then I can have this. Sound familiar? When I get the house, then life will be good. When I heal my money wounds, then I will have the abundance. And so we all do it. And the other way we do it as well is through blocks. We subconsciously create blocks. You consciously and subconsciously create blocks. Do both. And when you're doing inner work, if you are doing the inner work and you're like, I'm doing all this inner work, and for some reason you don't have the evidence you want to see, whether it is coming up in clients, money, business goals, when you're not seeing the evidence fast enough, or currently in your current reality, you're not seeing the evidence and you're doing all this work, what does your ego and your mind do? It must be a block. There has to be a block. There has to be a block why there are no clients. There has to be a block why there is no money coming in. There has to be a block why this business isn't working. There has to be a block why I'm not, meeting the man. There has to be a block. There has to be a block. And in that moment, what you've created is a block by saying there has to be a block. Because your ego wants to keep you safe. Your ego wants to make sense of the things that don't make sense. Your mind wants evidence, the physical evidence, the book, the money, the clients, that all this work you are doing is working. And if it's not working, then there's a block. But in that concept, then you're just creating the blocks. And so you created a block by stating it's a block. But blocks, in a world of duality, in a life of duality where we are both equally dark and light, blocks will always exist and yet don't exist at the same time. Where there's one, there's the other. There will always be healing to do. There will always be blocks to unblock. We are not meant to heal everything in one lifetime. And some might, I don't know, what am I to say? Blocks will always exist, such as healing will always exist. So instead of focusing so much on the blocks, instead of focusing so much on the external world of the evidence, focus within. Reel yourself back in and look at, okay, what is the current inner work I'm doing? And focus on that. And surrender at the same time and hold the dualities that are meant to be held. You don't always need to be doing the work. You can take breaks and hold dualities. And by taking breaks and holding dualities and surrendering, then the aha moment, the key, presents itself. And then you take that to unlock the door of whatever that door is in your life. But that unlocking that door doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to bring you the clients, that it's going to bring you the money, that it's going to bring you the business goals, that it's going to bring you that. Unlocking that door, what it means is unlocking it for yourself and unlocking it for who you are, and so that for you to grow, for you to open up your heart, for you to see life differently, for you to see yourself differently. That's what that is. Everything else in our external environment, everything, including these plants here in the background, is all an illusion. Nothing is real. We make it real through our eyes, through our five senses. But nothing is real. But what is real is our soul. So that's day 42.